Group B is an interesting mix of styles and brings together South America, Africa, Asia and Europe. Diego Maradona's Argentina win in Uruguay and they're through to the World Cup. Maradona was appointed Argentina coach in November 2008, with his country lying third in the South American qualifying group, having won just one of their previous 7 World Cup qualifiers.
It was amazing for us. We all knew what Diego had done, and for him to come and take charge of the national team made every one of us very proud.
Maradona teamed up with Carlos Bilardo, who was his manager when Argentina won the World Cup in 1986. Their arrival was all about bringing the passion back to Argentinian football.
I'm going to try to take my country to the highest level it can get to. I always made playing for my country a priority. Playing for Argentina is the best thing that can happen to a player. You can score for Napoli, but to score for Argentina is something altogether different.
Maradona's first competitive match in charge was against Venezuela. His appointment had gained the seal of approval from those inside the stadium. Once again, Lionel Messi got the home side off to a great start. Just after half-time, Messi provided Carlos Tevez with the kind of chance he doesn't miss. And it finished 4-0 to Argentina. The perfect start. So far, so good for Maradona. He had a 100% record after winning 2 friendlies and 1 qualifier. But at 3,600 metres above sea level in the Hernando Siles Stadium in La Paz, Bolivia shattered Maradona's honeymoon period with the national team. And this wasn't just a defeat, it was a 6-1 humiliation at the hands of one of the weakest teams in South American football. Back home, people began to doubt. Maradona may have brought glory as a player, but did he have the necessary experience to really deliver as a coach? Argentina had to bounce back, and they did, with a victory against Colombia. Daniel Diaz with the goal. But in Ecuador came another match at altitude and another setback. Walter Ayovi with the first goal. The 2-0 defeat set up a crucial phase. First Brazil, who they met at home in Rosario. The match did not turn out quite as Maradona had imagined. A 3-1 victory for Brazil, their first World Cup qualifying win ever in Argentina. Disaster for Maradona. A wave of pessimism swept the country, and it looked as though Maradona's lack of experience in management was showing. Many thought he was losing control of the team. A few days later, in Asunción, Paraguay dealt another blow to Maradona's hopes. Nelson Valdez scored the only goal to send Paraguay to South Africa. Argentina, meanwhile, according to the headlines, were not going anywhere.
It was strange, because we saw that the people were suffering. It was an atmosphere that we weren't used to, because we usually qualify with 2 or 3 matches to spare. So that was a very strange feeling.
The entire qualification campaign came down to the last 2 matches. Argentina needed 4 points from a home game against Peru and a tough-looking away fixture with Uruguay.
We tried very hard to remove ourselves from everything that was said and written during the week of the match, because it put a lot more pressure on us. We were already under a lot of pressure because of the mathematical situation in the group, and whether we would qualify for the World Cup. We tried to put it to the back of our minds, but that's difficult in a football-mad country like ours.
We knew that we needed those 3 points and the victory. During the week, we'd heard so many things. that Argentina would overrun Peru, that we'd thrash them, that Argentina would do this or that, and that's the kind of thing that drives a player crazy. And something strange happened in that match. We attacked for the whole of the first half, but we just couldn't score.
For the second half, Martin Palermo came on as Maradona searched desperately for the breakthrough. But it was his other striker, Gonzalo Higuain, who delivered.
And then in the second half, we got the goal. And we relaxed a little and started losing the ball. And then Peru got the ball, and everything they didn't do in the first half, they did in the second, and they kept coming at us. And then there was the rain and the wind swirling around. We just couldn't play football. When they equalised, it was like that whole storm had been whipped up just for us, because it was around the final minute that they equalised.
It looked like the end of the world for Argentina and Maradona, but there was yet another twist on that tempestuous night. In the 94th minute came Diego Maradona's saviour. The substitute, Martin Palermo, the big old-fashioned striker he'd brought on at half-time, had scored the winner.
Luckily, we never gave up, and we didn't let it bother us. And thank God, with the last kick of the match, Martin scored. That took a bit of the pressure off us, and then we could think clearly about the next game, which was going to be a real battle because of the circumstances in the group.
And then came that all-important win in Uruguay. Argentina was South Africa bound.
We have this pride in Argentina, which came through in qualifying, I think. Peru all but had a point, and our hearts sank. But Martin managed to score with the final kick of the game. Then we went to Uruguay, where we all thought it would be a battle, where many people thought Uruguay would win. And we managed to get a victory that not many thought we could get. So I think Argentina have shown that if we're not playing well, or things are not going for us, then we can rely on our spirit, which is great. So if we're passionate, like Argentinians always have been, then I think things will be fine.
So in the end, Argentina managed to get an automatic qualification place. 4 points clear of Uruguay may look comfortable, but there were so many times when Argentina looked unlikely to make it to South Africa.
There were some difficult moments, but now everything is a bit more relaxed. We can be calm, prepare well, and look forward to a great World Cup, and put the bad times behind us.
I've got a great group of players, and in Messi, I have the best player in the world. And I have players with hunger. I have players who've already played in World Cups and who know what it takes to concentrate completely on the World Cup. And that gives me an advantage over other coaches. And I say that we're going to win the World Cup.
Argentina's first game in South Africa will be at Ellis Park in Johannesburg against Nigeria, before Maradona's men play South Korea and Greece.